This is the noob, and this video is about 3D asset creation for RCBasic. So I'm going to quickly go over the tools I'm going to be using: Animator, Blender, and Maverick Model 3D. All three of these, well, Animator is technically only available for Windows, but it runs through Wine, which is how I'm running it here. I'm on Ubuntu right now. But both Blender and Maverick Model 3D are available for Windows or Linux. Um, I'll have links to all of them in the description. So let's start with Animator, which is what I use to create models. And we're just going to create a really quick and dirty stickman model. So let's go ahead and just create a box, view it from the left, and let's cut that down maybe to half. And to be able to create a neck and as well as actually, yeah, so to create the neck, I'm gonna cut X by 2, and I will do the other cuts like manually after. You'll see what I mean. So, well, X by 3. So, and yeah. So we'll be able to just extrude our neck from the top, and we'll extrude our legs from these bottom two. So convert that to a mesh, go into edit, and this isn't gonna be a tutorial on using animators specifically, just on you know quick like how animator would be used specifically with RCBasic. If you want to see a more in-depth tutorial on animator, let me know, or any of the other tools, minus Blender, because I don't really use Blender for much. Um, so that's going to be our head. We'll just going to do a cut straight across for the arms, and let's go out, select mirror, convert mirrored, and right. Uh, that works. Right. And this is I'm gonna make it so it can only select faces. That usually makes this a little bit easier. And then extrude, and extrude, and extrude. And right. Let's go and move this. Alright, now we have our model. Where I'm gonna go in here, and I'm going to I've one thing about animators: do not leave mirrored on, because it will eventually cause it to break if you click the wrong thing. So I'm gonna go here and stop mirroring, and now I'm gonna export the model first. So let's go and export OBJ, and I'm going to put this. I made a folder on the desktop for this already. So formats, and yeah. All right. So now I'm gonna go into Blender, and I'm mainly just gonna be using Blender to create a UV map for it. So let's go to import OBJ, which is on this list somewhere. Formats. Uh, So here's our model. To UV map it, just go over to the UV tab up here at the top. Um, not, and this is the only thing I use Blender for, is just creating this UV map, because Animator's UV uh, functionality is terrible. So it's the one thing where like you need an external program for it, and Blender works fine for this. So let's go like unwrap this. Um, what's going on? Select. There should be an option to unwrap, which I am not getting. I'm in a UV tab. Oh wait, face select. Make sure you have your face select on up top. Now I should get that option. Unwrap faces. And is it, I think maybe cube projection, which gets me something. I don't know if I necessarily want this. So let's undo that and just go for Smart UV Project. Um, and yeah, let's just do that. It's good enough. I just wanted something just for the face, and then I'm just gonna make everything else the same color. Typically, you'd want to do more than that. Like, you'd have something where you'd select all the points. I'm switching between programs, so I'm gonna need to keep adapting to the controls for each one. So if like I wanted something on a shirt, I would take these points and I would just uh, put this on a part of the image where I want to draw the shirt on. I mean, you can look up tutorials on how unwrapping works, um, but for the purpose of this, I'm just going to do the face, and just going to take this and put this here, maybe make it a little bit bigger, just so that when I export this, I can just draw the face on that. And then the rest of this, I'm just going to make one color. So that's fine. You know what? I will go ahead and just, I guess, add. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to take those points. Actually, those points. I want these 2 points as well. I'm going to take both of these, which are connected to other stuff. Alright, so let's um there's a way to, I think, split. I think that's it. Yeah. And what was the other one? And I'll split that. I'll put these I guess down here. And so I'll make all the points for uh like the shirt all the same color. And then I'm just going to split and then grab. I'll put them all up here. And then I know these two are the sides. And then I will do the same thing for the front. Rotate. Also, I should note that what I'm doing is a terrible UV unwrap. There's so many better ways to do this than what I'm doing. But generally when I'm doing these tutorials, I try to do everything the simplest way possible. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just gonna scale all of this down, and that can go out in the corner. So I have my shirt and my face. And now I am going to export the UV layout. And I want um, size all UVs. Make sure that that is selected, otherwise it won't have the actual like grid patterns for where each thing is. So let's go and put that inside of my textures folder because I'll just edit that directly, which is in tutorials and this folder, and export. Um, and let me make sure that that was added where it needed to be. Well, like that it saved what it needed to save. So inside of here, yeah. So that's what we want to see. Which I'm gonna be just drawing on that in Ace Sprite later on too. So I guess this is gonna be a little bit of a Ace Sprite tutorial as well. So we're done with that. Now we need to make sure we export the new OBJ we just created. So which that's going into desktop, the same folder, but the models folder. So, and I'm gonna call this post uv.obj. Shouldn't have to change anything on the settings for this. Yeah, so export. And now I am done with all I'm going to do in Blender. So I'm going to close Blender because I don't need it for anything else. And now I am also going to import the new object. Well, actually, I could animate it in Animator. And if you want to see how that works, you can check out the last Serenity 3D tutorial I did where I did that in Animator. But this time I'm going to use Maverick Model 3D. So let's go into Maverick Model 3D. And I'm going to open the post UV model that I exported. And yeah, because this is the one, this post UV is the one I exported from Blender that has the new UV map on it. So let's open that up. And we haven't done a texture yet, but here we're just focused on animating. So we are gonna start by adding bones. And up top here along this toolbar, you'll find this one right here, create bone joint. And then you can just start creating your bones from here. I'm going to start from the center of the crotch area and put my root bone or root joint there, and then just start adding bones by clicking and dragging, and then gonna go out to here. And yeah, so now I'm going to just add all my joints by, and once you get used to Maverick Model, this is like the easiest program for animation 3D animation that I've found, which is why I mean I still use Animator for modeling because I hate Maverick Model's modeling tools. Um, it's strange. I'm saying that I I uh I model my stuff in Animator and then I animate my stuff in Maverick Model. So it's like backwards, but I feel like they each of these programs have their unique strengths, and I will use different tools for different things if one tool does something better than the others. So there is our, it's close enough. So, I guess I will also select all of the bones and then move them, try to get them as close to the center of the model as possible. And now I am going to, this is something else too where is it? Let me select this. Like Maverick Model also gives you the ability to name each of these joints. So I can select like this joint, and then over here in properties where it says joint 5, I know that that's the right hand, so I'm going to call it right hand. You can sort of do this. I mean, you can do this in Animator too, I think, but it's just a lot more intuitive in Maverick Model, in my opinion. Um, and then I'm gonna, just going through name all my joints because it's gonna make the next step a lot simpler too. So right elbow and left elbow and left hand and right knee. I don't even know if I necessarily need it to do this much for a simple tutorial like this, but it is also good just to see how quick this workflow actually is too. So um, left knee and left foot. All right. So I named all of my joints. I am also gonna now start adding influences. So I want to select vertices, and then I'm gonna like add influences by vertices. For my simple model here, this is gonna be very easy. So I want these vertices to be attached to the right hand. So let's go to influences and uh, assign selected to, you must have at least one bone joint select. Oh wait, so uh, let's select this joint and then so assign selected to joint. No wait. So you select the, yeah, sorry, I haven't done this in a while. Select the joint and then select, is this the vertices? Select the joint and select the vertices and assign selected to joint. There. So select the next joint, uh, select the vertices. I'm holding shift when I select the vertices after selecting the joint too. Something else that you just get used to. I've been doing other stuff related to my games. I haven't been animating lately, so this is kind of a refresher for me as well. But now I'm going to select these points, select that joint, and assign selected to joint, and go here. And remember to hold shift when after like for when you're selecting the points or joints after you've selected one, so that you don't unselect the other. And assign selected to joint. Assign selected to joint. Alright, and the last one, well, like last set, well, last two, I guess, so that. And so now we have our model rigged, or at least I hope we do. Let's go into animation mode. So start animation mode, and we can create a new animation. And we're only going to create one I guess we'll create two animations so we can show the different, how to like create multiple animations and stuff. So first animation is just going to be a walk, which is going to be a terrible looking walk. And we're going to make this skeletal, and we'll give it like, I guess, 20 frames. Um, I will the frames per second you select here doesn't matter because you have to set those in Serenity anyway, so you can just leave it the way it is. So now for the first frame, we want to select our let's select we want the bone select for all of this. We're not going to be using the vertex select anymore. So I'm going to select this one. Yeah. Actually, no. Select the elbow, I think, and then no. I am confusing myself a little bit here. So let's select that, and now we rotate that down, and we'll do the same thing here. Select this one and rotate that down. And now I'm going to select the select all of these and go to animation and set rotation keyframe. And we will do the same thing for these two. And let's set rotation keyframe. Even though we didn't move these, we want to set it so that the animation knows to track when it changes. So now we're going to go to like frame 10. And you can see the frame in the bottom left corner here. So now that we're at this new frame, we are going to set rotation keyframes here, and then we're going to rotate each leg. So let's rotate this one up that way, and then we'll rotate this other one in the opposite, this one in the opposite direction. Alright, and now we should see like it interpolate between those like first 10 frames, and then for frame 20 we're gonna just copy this first frame. Well, actually, before I do that, let me go back to frame 10. I'm gonna have the arms move as well. So let's go ahead and select the arm joints. I'm going to select both of them and set rotation keyframes on both of those. And So now I want the arms moving in the opposite direction of the legs. So I think this arm we want to move back, and this arm we want to move forward. It, so now we should, yeah. And I'm going to copy this starting frame. So I'm actually probably going to extend this to 40 frames now that I think about it. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave it. No, I'll extend it to 40 frames because it's gonna look terrible if I don't. Um, so let's take this and copy selected keyframes, and we're gonna go to 20, and we're gonna set rotation keyframe, and then paste selected keyframes. So now we should have. That's the reason why I said I'm going to extend this, I think, to, yeah, 40. So you end this frame part right here, you can just bump that up to 40. And um, the reason I did that is so, let's see. Now I want the legs to move in the opposite direction. So I'm going to select this leg. And so that leg I want to move forward now. And honestly, I could have just did this from the beginning. I'm just going to move that up. The other leg is going to move back. Although, let me set rotation keyframes for this as well. Set rotation keyframe. Now I'm going to move this other leg back. And now this arm needs to move forward. Set rotation and keyframe for that. Rotate that arm forward. And then set rotation keyframe for this. And move that arm back. I might have messed something up, but well, let's see. And now I need to actually add 20 more keyframes. Actually, no, I think just 10 more. 10 more, and then I'm going to go back to the starting position. And I want to copy these keyframes and just paste them like I did before. Just take all of them. Copy selected keyframes and then paste them. Well, set rotation key here. Oops, come on. Go all the way to the end. And let's just set rotation key and paste selected keyframes. So now we should have a relatively smooth transition throughout the whole animation. So we have our animation for walk. Let's go ahead and add one more animation for, I don't know, jump, I guess. So new and call this jump. And frames per second, I mean, that doesn't matter. We'll just make this like 10 frames. And for jump, we're gonna make this look ridiculous, just intentionally. So let's go ahead. So set set rotation keyframe, and then at the end, well, actually, before that, let's see if I can paste selected keyframes. Yeah, oh sweet, I can do that. So and set rotation keyframe, and now at the end we're gonna set rotation keyframe, and we're gonna make this look ridiculous. So uh, let's rotate this up, and we will rotate. Uh, and then rotate that. I guess that works. Um, and if you can't tell, I'm not really trying to make this look like an actual jump, but something a little bit more ridiculous. So let's and just so we can play around with all those joints that we had set. Um, I mean, maybe I could have it like, I don't know, bend completely out of whack like that. Nah, I guess I'll go like that. So, and then let's set all our keyframes. So, which I think I did set the rotation keyframes on this already. For actual walk cycles, like for anybody who doesn't know much about animation, you would normally also be setting translation keyframes as well because you have like your body constantly going up and down as you're walking, but it's beyond the scope of this tutorial, which is probably like I can't tell how long this has been going on for, but longer than I've probably wanted it to at this point. So we are going to so we have our 10 frames for our jump plus our 50 frames for our walk. We're gonna save this as, and inside of here we're gonna call this I guess stickman dot ms3d. We want to save this as a milk-shaped 3D model. So save, and subversion 0 is fine. So okay. So now we have our model saved. Let's open up Serenity. Um, if you haven't, I mean, I created the Serenity project for this before I started. So if you haven't created a project, you probably haven't been able to follow along with this. Go back. I'm gonna link the first Serenity tutorial I did in the description. This was just on how to create 3D assets. So um, wait, why am I trying to go in here? I want to open the project. Yeah. So now let's go ahead and, oh yeah, we never did create our texture. So let's go ahead and do that before we do anything else. I'm going to minimize that for now, and I'm going to, I already have a sprite open. I'm working on a sprite for uh, the battle record Minerva, but for this, actually for this, we're not creating a new one. We're just going to open, because if you recall when we did the UV map in Blender, we also exported the layout. And that's what we're going to edit to create our texture, which is in, I added it to the texture folder. And so this is, we're just going to create a new layer, and I'm going to set this layer as the background, and just I'm just going to select a color, and all right. So this is going to make our entire model this color basically, and I'm going to just draw like some stuff for the face. So I'll use maybe I'll use green. So yeah, this is not gonna be a particularly good looking face. Um, and also I didn't check, but the face could possibly be upside down. And if that's the case, we'll fix the texture. But um, oops. There we go. And I wanted to create a separate color for the shirt. So, which is why I separated these. We'll make that like red or whatever color this is, like reddish orange. And there. So this is our simple texture for our model. Let's save this. Yes. And now let's go back into Serenity. And we need to load our texture first. So let's add a texture. Um, and this texture ID, you can like change it to like it just has to, it can't have any spaces in it, but we can change it to our character texture, or something that helps you identify it more. And then go into material, create a new material for it, and we can call this character material. And we're going to add texture to it and set that texture to our character texture. Let me make this bigger. So over here, I added the texture by clicking add and then setting. Um, and I'm going to also disable lighting on this so that it shows up in the model view over here. I can add the lighting back in whenever I need to. So now here in the mesh tab, let's go to load, and we're going to load stickman.ms3d. That's our textured and animated model, and hit load. Alright, and select this. I'm going to call this mesh stickman mesh. And I'm going to just create two animations for it. The first one is going to be walk. And uh, if we go back into Maverick model, we'll see that our walk animation is 50 frames. So that's um, like basically gonna start at frame 0 and end at frame 49. Although I might be wrong about that. If it is, I'll correct it. It might be frame 1 to 50, but I think it's 0 to 49. I think it's like one off. But um, we'll set the speed to like, I don't know, 20 frames a second. And let's try to play our walk animation. That looks right. So Now, let's create our jump animation. And so this started at ended at frame 49. So we want to start this at frame 50. And this was 10 frames, so go to like frame 59, which I'm just gonna type it in. And we'll set this speed to like 15, or I guess 20 as well. And let's play the jump animation. Oh, yeah, my mic is constantly going out, so forgive me for that. And so let's play this. And yeah, it seems about right. Maybe it's happening a little too fast. Maybe we'll slow it down a little bit. All right. And yeah, so that is our mesh created. Let's go and add our material and set that to character material. And now we can see our face drawn on it along with its shirt and stuff. And now if we wanted to, we could go here, create a new stage. I'll call it stage 1. And then we can just go ahead and add our stick man. We'll call it stick and create. Maybe scale him up a little bit. Oops. There we go. And you know, and now we can view our stick guy in the scene.